And so the fight is over in Boku no, sorry, Black Clover. Sorry, chapter 125. And I am the Angry Anime Fan, the spell reviewer. And well, how did it end? Well, not too bad actually. Sora managed to tell Asta to let it go, the next fireball go, because he has actually planned to manage to tag a trap on the crystal. Sora's trap magic is remarkably strong. Of course, Magna descends to send it back with a baseball, but then it copies him just to, and just as about to send it back, it curves and flashes right into him. So he basically copied his own effect. So Asta Mina tried to fend off against Kirsch Sakura trees. And of course he is extremely mad of the fact that he was hurt by a commoner, and also because his anti-magic sword is something of filth. So he decides he will not scorn him, but he will blame away with the crystal. Of course, though, then it turns out that Sora managed to trap his arm into trap magic binding still too. Apparently, apparently his anger and in the fact that he was hurt by a commoner blinded him from his magic sense, realizing he could even set up his traps in midair. So that's a pretty OP power. And that is just enough for Asta to knock Kirsch out with one powerful hug, slash attack to the throat. Normally people will say, wait, I should cut off his head. But then I say to people, his sword works differently every single time. I think the side is not as actually so sharp. It's sharp against magic, but not against humans. The one and only time it was sharp was when he was pierced through Veto. Moreover, Aztec can control its strength. I'm pretty sure of it. So that he managed to defeat Kirsch, but of course Soul is not out for the count yet, as all the others are distraction as she begins to target the crystal. Luckily, the one who saves the day is none other than Mimosa. She may have been binded before, but it turns out that she did not go down. She did not get binded without a fight, and that's what I like about her. She managed to actually managed to place a control magic vine inside of inside of Soul's Earth golems. So with that, she could take control over it for a short amount of time and prevent it from destroying the crystal. And so so magically talks to them through her map to that use that moment to destroy the golem, because it turns out the Soul is protecting the crystal inside of the Earth golem, and that is just as enough for Asta to cut it down and winning the game. Therefore, Team Asta has won. And so, of course, Sora is not exactly so happy of being done all for the fact that Asta, but then he begins to dish out pretty harsh, yet at the same time pretty accurate reason you suck speeches towards all. To Soul, he mentions that the fact that the way she handles everything is too rough and unpolished, which actually I think Charlotte has actually commented that she is a little bit too hot-blooded in that things. And also the fact that she's sensitive to the subtleties of, if she was a little bit more sensitive to the attitudes of the subtleties of her magic, then shouldn't have lost. To Magna, he says that he explained his powers too much and therefore people could figure it out and get too fired up. He doesn't know if it was too fired up, but he also mentions that the fact that he explained his ability too much was his own downfall. And of course he wastes no time to Kirsch explaining to him, to the royal narcissist, that he was just too arrogant, and in the way that blinded him for the most everything else. And I think this is Sora's goal. After you all mentioned, he talked down on the previous opponents too. This time he talks down even more, but this is actually a little bit accurate, more brutal talking down. I think that is his goal. Maybe his friend joined the Magic Knights, but was ridiculed for, being too weak. So maybe this is his goal. His goal is to win everything and talk down on every single one and how they are weak and stuff like that. Of course, Mimosa approaches her brother, as Mimosa says that some may have sometimes driven to their extremes, but she believes that there are true beauty even inside of the situations. As we see another flashback, as the person that stole bread may have been a filthy commoner, but to Mimosa it was just a sister trying to feed her. I think that's a sister trying to feed her younger sister, and that is what's true beauty. So Kirsch do not want to be seen in this unsightly beautiful states, but to Mimosa it was not unsightly at all. So for she says that now you have acknowledged the power of commoners and continue to fight where you dirt yourself. That's the most beautiful I've ever seen you. She finally managed to defeat her brother, and even though Kirsch do not want to indeed admit it, he does admit that the passionate fight between Asta and Magma was indeed a beautiful. With that, the next second match of the round two begins. The true brothers, Finral and Venral, I forgot his name, is now going to face off. Who will win this match? That's a good question. If they win, doesn't that mean they will face off against Asta's team? I mean, Leo is on this team, so that will actually make a pretty makes it would pretty probably make sense for Leo to face Asta. I mean, he is his rival after all. Then again, the same can be said on the other team. We have that arrogant guy who always had been humiliated by Asta, although unwillingly. So who knows? This match can go up either way, but I'm looking forward to see who wins here. If you ask me though, I still wish Finral will win, so he can finally put his little brother in his place. Give me your thoughts if you have any.